Greetings. What's up, y'all? What's up? Man, today is one hell of a day for Overwatch, huh? Oh my god. But yes, chat, patch notes have been hinted at in a blog post. Support a small streamer or support a streamer is there. And I'm on the list? Hello? Isn't that nuts, dude? Crazy. So that's right, chat. If you gift me 2 subs, you yourself can earn the Paradise Echo skin. This is your chance. If you give me 2 subs, you can get it, and you know it helps me out. Instead of going straight to Blizzard, you get to support me, and you guys get a skin if you don't have it already. Straight to patch notes. That's right, chat. Director's take, balance preview for season 8. Here we go. This is one of the 2 remaining Director's Takes blogs for 2013. We'll release another one in 2 weeks and take the last part of the year off for the holiday season before we pick back up again in the new year. I'll be writing this one in a sort of turkey-induced fever dream, and the next one just after we launch season 8. This is when we'll release our newest hero, Malga. Along with the quite a few balance changes for the game, we'll take a look at those changes and touch on a few other topics as well. Let's look at changes coming from our season 8 heroes for season heroes for season 8. Starting with some of the larger changes coming to our tanks. We released a reworked Roadhog late in season 7. Roadhog quickly became one of our top performing tank with a win rate somewhere on 54% for Roadhog. That's so fast considering he's been so shit for so long. There's been a lot of feedback around his kit, but we're going to hold off on making any changes at the start of Season 8. Malga has a lot of answers to Roadhog, and we'd like to see where the meta settles a bit before aiming at the mid-season patch for any balance adjustments. Okay. There are times when Doomfist players use his ultimate purely as an escape. It's a little disappointing to activate Meteor Strike and intentionally land on a health pack rather than the enemy players. True. Starting in Season 8, Doomfist will now regenerate 75 health per second in the air. We're slightly increasing the cost of an ult in order to compensate for the buff? What? They are compensating? Nah, bro. No way. There's no way they thought that far. To give him a buff, realize he might be too strong, and nerf to compensate? Come on, dude. Okay, Blizzard. Let's see where you're cooking. Winston, Rutro. The Winston isn't the best matchup for other tanks. True. I never fight other tanks, bro. This is part of his kit, but the disadvantage feels too extreme, and we'd like to alleviate it a bit. In Season 8, Winston's Tesla cannon will now ignore armor's damage reduction. Holy, that's huge. That's pretty big, because it doesn't also apply to just tanks, right? Like the main one is Bastion. So now you get rid of that like 50 armor he has, right? And Brig. Holy shit. Torb too. Oh my god, chat. Holy. Okay, bro. Oh, season 8. Winton's time to shine, dude. They've watched my streams. Remember when I said that they should make his gun like do more damage to constructibles? Like, I would have taken that, man. This is way bigger than that idea. Oh my god. Moving on to a few of the changes to our DPS heroes. Let's start with Sombra. She's had a lot of moving parts recently, and we feel like she's in a much better spot. Her win rate hovers between 45 and 48. How's that better? Depending upon rank. However, her ultimate still isn't as satisfying as it could be, so we're going to raise the ability lockout time of EMP by 1.5 to 3 seconds, and reduce the amount of damage it does from 30 to 25%. This brings her ultimate form in line with her hero fantasy, and is much sharper in its effect. I actually like this. I like this a lot. Soldier 76 has enjoyed a lot of success in Season 7. That's true. He's a really well-rounded DPS, and the self-sustain from his heal can make him really difficult to deal with while he's in the radius. But rather than reducing the effectiveness of the heal, we'd rather open up larger windows of opportunity by increasing the cooldown from 15 to 18 seconds. That's still like once a fight, though. Does anyone remember how much damage Tracer's pulse pistols do? I wouldn't blame you if you don't. We've changed them a lot. If he gets 5.5 damage per shot, you'd be right, but not for long, because we're changing them again and back to 6. Fuck, dude. The previous change to 5.5 was made to offset a bug with their fall off and spread. Now that those bugs are fixed, we're moving them back to the previous value. Bro, buffs to Tracer, buffs to Winton, Dive is back, baby. Let's go. Let's look at some of our support changes. Rig was the best performing support hero since the last patch. Since the last 7 years. What are you talking about? Since the last 7 years, bro, she's been the best. And we are seeing your feedback that she is becoming a must pick. We're going to revert the damage on Whipshot to try to bring her back in line. We're also looking at the damage potential of BAP, and we'll be lowering his primary fire ammo from 45 to 36. Huh. I'd like to touch on one of the items mentioned in the last director's take, specifically the leave rate in quick play matches. Based on recently implemented set of penalties for leaving too many matches, that rate has gone down considerably. There's been a bit of talk around that, specifically that some people view the mode as something that they would like the freedom to leave without worrying about those penalties. Different people play quick play for different reasons. Some people see it as their try-hard version of the game, some view it as a way to experiment with heroes, and others use it as their casual, just for fun version of the game. It's really difficult to have this part of the game be all things for all people. In the past, we've talked internally about whether we need a third main queue in the game in order to have different areas to serve people of different levels of seriousness. But don't think that players would voluntarily move into the appropriate queue for their particular playstyle. That's true. People just, like, World of Warcraft has, like, RP servers, but there's definitely people that don't RP in them, right? And there's no way to enforce that. In regard to penalties for leaving quick play matches, the reasoning behind this is that frequent leavers do have an effect on the other people in the match, degrading its quality. There are some players that literally leave over 90% of their matches, and we could no longer stick to the black and white policy because of this. The policy is still very lenient, probably too lenient, where players need to leave almost a quarter of their most recent matches to trigger a light penalty. We'll continue to look at this tweak and these policies in an attempt to promote better match quality, but without harsher restrictions of rank play. That's it for this week. Thanks for reading. We'll see you in the game. The QP penalties are nice. So they're making it so that you have to stay for like 25% of the match, right? So if you're playing push and it's a 10-minute game, you have to stay in the game for 2.5 minutes to not get penalized. And I think that's a good change. Because, like, sometimes, like, I'm sure there's people that are like, oh, school's about to, like, begin, or I have to leave for work or whatever. Let me see if I could just get a quick play match in. Sometimes you just gotta dip. There's nothing you could do. Or, like, you're playing quick play and a friend invites you to play lethal company, I think it's called. It's like, okay, like, you should just be able to leave, right? It's quick play. Like, the games have no value in them aside from what you put into it. So I think it's a good way. I think it's a good way to do it. And it makes it so people don't have to leave, but still have the option to later on. So I'll take it. This season, man, it looks like it's going to be pretty good. They seem like they're tackling a lot of the issues that we've been facing. Man, it's just like the Winston changes is a really big one. And I feel like I'm going to whoop a lot of ass. But what wasn't really mentioned was still immortality. They still didn't mention Suzu or life grip as much. They didn't mention like those kind of abilities. And on an aid and sleep. But maybe dive will fix that. Maybe dive will just ignore those situations. But then, like, I'm looking at someone like Reinhardt. Like, how is Reinhardt gonna benefit from these changes? And I don't think he does at all. This is what I was afraid of, right? They just gave Winston more damage, right? And I don't think the game needs more damage, because like the way to solve their issues, like, oh, Winston's underperforming, so make it so he can kill stuff faster. It's like, I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is that he can't survive faster long enough, right? Like, Bastion will still be a problem. Like, if the enemy team picks Bastion, now granted, Bastion will die faster in dive comps, but I'll still explode. They didn't mention anything about Bubble. They just said Winston's Tesla cannon will now ignore armor's damage reduction. I'm a little nervous.